Hey everyone, time for another Gloomhaven enhanced with Lego bricks scenario. Today we're going to be doing the Decaying Crypt. In the last episode, my characters successfully completed the scenario and decided to go back to Gloomhaven. So I'm in Gloomhaven. While I'm here, I have just enough gold on each character to again donate to the Sanctuary of the Great Oak. I really want to get those 2 Bless cards into my deck. So on my Brute, I have 14 gold. I'm going to donate 10. So I'm down to 4. And then for my Spellweaver, I have 20 gold. Now I'm going to be down to 10 gold. So doing that, I get 2 Bless cards into each of my characters' decks. The Bless card is a 2 times bonus to my attack. One of the reasons why I'm doing this, well, number one, it's very beneficial to have those 2 extra cards. But also for the next scenario, there's a scenario effect that tells me to add 3 curse cards into my deck, and each curse card nullifies my attack. That means with the curse card, in addition with the native null card that's in the deck, that's 4 cards that could cancel my attack. So I want to balance that by putting some bonus cards into my deck. Now both the curse and the bless cards, once they're drawn, get removed from your deck. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle those in before I forget. 5 extra cards into each deck. Also, while I'm in Gloomhaven, I'm going to run a city event. A great revelry is underway at the New Market when you arrive to purchase supplies. Investigating further, you discover the town is in the midst of a pie-eating contest. A group of large sailors sits triumphantly at a long table on a makeshift stage, crumbs and bits of fruit scattered all around. A man in the center stands and addresses the crowd. "Can no one best our pie-eating prowess? Step up and test your mettle." With nothing better to do, you head up to the stage. The contest goes well for a while as you match the others pie for pie, but soon your eating starts to slow, and the sailors are still going strong. Option A, yield to the pie and admit defeat. Option B, power through the pain, you will not be bested. So I get the feeling option B is going to be both good and bad, so I'm going to go with option A, yield to the pie and admit defeat. You put down your utensils and yield to the sailors. They roar with pride and slap you on the back. Unfortunately, the sudden jolt doesn't sit well with your stomach, and soon all the pies you ate are coming back up, much to the disgust of the gathered crowd. Lose 1 reputation. I got a mark on my party sheet. My reputation is now at -1. So my business in Gloomhaven is now done. My characters are now going to travel to the Decaying Crypt. On the way, I have to run a road event. There was a heavy rain last night, and the roads are now dark streaks of mud. And as bad as it is for you walking, you see that others up ahead on the road are having worse trouble. You come upon a collection of wagons stuck in the mud on the side of the road. You look around and see an odd assortment of people dressed in garish clothing. They are working to push their brightly painted wagons, all emblazoned with a marvelous and magical Techno Circus logo out of the muck. We just stopped for a quick meal, and now the wheels have sunk into this mess. A quattrel with a fancy top hat says as you approach. I'm sure our strongman will get us out eventually, but we certainly wouldn't begrudge a little extra help. Option A, help push out the quattrel ringmaster's wagon. Option B, help push out the fortune teller's wagon. I'm going to go with option A. You put down some boards and then heave and push until the great wagon is out of the ditch and moving back on the road. The diminutive quattrel tips his hat. Well, I certainly could not have done that on my own. Your assistance is greatly appreciated. I tell you what, the next time you're back in Gloomhaven, why don't you stop by our circus, and we'll let you in for free. Add City Event 74 to the deck. Now that I'm at the dungeon, I gotta pick my battle goals. So I've already shuffled the deck. I deal 2 cards to the Brute, and 2 cards to the Spellweaver, and I'm gonna pick from the 2 to figure out what my battle goals are going to be. So for the Brute, I've got Plunderer or Aggressor. I haven't seen Aggressor before. Plunderer seems more likely though, so I'm gonna go with Plunderer. For the Spellweaver, I've got Neutralizer and Straggler. Whew, both of these seem unlikely, but I'm going to pick Straggler and just see how it goes. Okay, we are ready to go. The equipment I have for my Brute is the Iron Helmet, Minor Healing Potion, and Boots of Striding. And for my Spellweaver, I have Cloak of Invisibility, Minor Power Potion, and the Iron Helmet. Decaying Crypt. Introduction. What is life without a little bit of intrigue? The cultists have clearly marked this crypt as a spot of trouble for them. Perhaps clearing the place out will put you in their good graces. Or maybe you're just hoping to find a big stash of treasure, untouched by looters' hands. Once you arrive, the smell makes you regret your decision more than anything else. It's not the fact that you've had it about up to here with exploring old decrepit ruins. It's not the undead horror shambling and moaning in the shadows. It's the smell. The smell of death and soullessness and rotting flesh. So special rules, already mentioned, add 3 curse cards to each character's attack modifier deck. I've already done that. So in the first room, I could place my characters in any of 5 spots. These two, those two, or this one. So I've decided to put my Spellweaver here and my Brute here. There are 5 monsters in this first room. There are 3 normal living bones, 1 elite living corpse, and 1 normal living corpse. And there are 2 rubble tiles. Now they aren't traps, they don't cause damage. It just takes, instead of 1 movement to go into those tiles, it takes 2 movement. So for those rubble tiles, the monsters treat them as obstacles, meaning they will avoid going into them at all costs. So if there's a viable path to get to a character around the obstacle, they will go around it rather than through it. So only if there's no other option will they go through that obstacle. My characters, however, can go through it. It just reduces their movement. You can also end your turn on that tile if you want to. Now, the objective of this scenario is to reveal this room right here and then defeat all the revealed enemies. So that means I need to clear out this first room here first, and then I can choose to go either this way or this way. But I don't have to clear out both rooms. I just have to get to this room and clear it out. So, start of round 1. So checking initiative, the living bones actually goes first, and there are 3 of them, and they have a bonus to their movement, and they move 2. This could be bad. Okay, well, so living bones, they go in the order of the numbers on their standees, which were randomly placed. Living bones number 1, which is this fellow right here, is going to go first. He's going to move, base movement of 2 plus 1, so he's going to move 3. And these guys can target 2 enemies. Well, the shortest path to it would be 1, 2, 3. Now only 1 enemy is in his range of attack, and that would be the Brute. So he's going to attack the Brute then with a -1 to his attack, and his base attack is 1. So unless this card is really good, +0, so no damage. Next is Living Bones number 3, which is this guy. He can also move up to 3, but he's only going to move 2 to there, so he can attack both enemies. And again, -1 to attack, so base attack of 0, attack the Brute first. -2, and then is going to attack the Spellweaver, +1. So he'll hit the Spellweaver for 1. Now, Living Bones number 5 can also move 3 to there. Wow, I'm surrounded. And he'll attack the Brute, +1, hits the Brute for 1. It's the Brute's turn now. So I picked cards that were ranged. I didn't realize I was going to get surrounded by enemies. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the upper part of Overwhelming Assault for the base attack of 2. I'm going to attack Living Bones number 3. So attack of 2 +1. So I hit Living Bones number 3 for 3 damage. Health is 5. Then I'm going to use the bottom part of Spare Dagger for an attack of 2. -1. Oh, too bad. I could have got rid of him. So I hit Living Bones number 3 for another point of damage. He's down to 1 health, and those cards go in my discard. Spellweaver. Well, I have a ranged attack, and I've got a movement. So I'm going to use the bottom part of Fire Orbs to move. I'm going to move 3. 1, 2, I'm going to move right to there. Now I'm going to attack Living Bones number 3 with the upper part of Flame Strike. Attack of 3 with a range of 2. So he's within range. 3. Oh, that's a horrible time to get a 2x card. So first card I draw is my Bless card, and just devastates. Well, at least Living Bones number 3 is completely destroyed because I hit it for 6 damage. Would have been better utilized getting rid of one of the other ones, but I'll take it. It's 1 monster gone. And then those go in my discard. Living Corpse's turn. Going to move and then attack. Base movement is only 1. So the elite goes first. And the character who is closest, 1, 2, 3, 4 away, 1, 2, 3. Okay, for the monster, even though technically the Brute is only 2 tiles away, the Living Corpse can't end its turn on the same tile as one of the other monsters. So the only free path is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hexes away to get to the Brute, or 1, 2, 3 hexes away to get to the Spellweaver. So Living Corpse is going to go this way and focus on the Spellweaver. For the other Living Corpse, it's more clear. The Brute's closer. It's going to move 1 here. Neither one can attack, so their turn is done. That's the end of the round. No shuffle symbol. Oh, there is a shuffle symbol on the Living Corpse, so I'm going to shuffle that back into the deck. And this Bless card gets taken out of my deck. No other shuffle symbols, no conditions. Start of round number 2. My Brute will go first. I'm going to use the upper part of Provoking Roar for an attack of 2 and a disarm. And I'm going to attack Living Bones number 5. +0. So I hit Living Bones number 5, 2, and I disarm Living Bones number 5. Then I'm going to use the bottom part of Shield Bash as a persistent round effect to shield myself for 1. Spellweaver goes next. I'm going to use the bottom part of Impaling Eruption to just move 2. I'm going to move to here. Then I'm going to use the upper part of Frost Armor. So attack of 2, range of 3. Now I could attack either Living Bones number 1 or number 5, but number 5 is disarmed. So I'm going to go with Living Bones number 1. So attack of 2, null. Boo. That's not the curse card, that's just the regular null card. So I gotta shuffle that into my deck. Well, that turn was a waste. Next is the Living Bones. If move and attack, Living Bones number 1 goes first. So it's going to move 1 to be right between the Brute and the Spellweaver. It's going to attack them both. Who went first in the round? It was the Brute. Attack the Brute first. Base attack of 1 +0. So it hits the Brute for 1. Oh, but I have a shield. I forgot. I got a shield of 1. So no damage to the Brute. That was the whole point of that card. Now to attack the Spellweaver, base attack of 1 +2. Oof, that's not good. Hits the Spellweaver for 3. Spellweaver's down to 3 health. Now the other Living Bones, it can also move. Would it move? It wants to optimize its attack. So I'm going to say that it's going to move. It'll move here because it gets him closer to both characters. But it can't attack because it's disarmed. So that's the end of its turn. Now for Living Corpses, they only move. They get a bonus to movement, but they suffer 1 damage. Elite goes first. Now to focus on the Spellweaver would be 1, 2, 3, 4. And on the Brute, 1, 2, 3. So it's going to go focus on the Brute. It has a base movement of 1. It's got a bonus of 1. So it's going to go 1, 2. But then it suffers 1 damage. The Living Corpse number 1, it's just going to move 1 to get to there. And then it also suffers 1 damage. And that is the end of round number 2. I need to shuffle my Spellweaver's deck because I drew the null. This effect is now no longer valid. The disarm comes off the Living Bones. Start of round number 3. My Spellweaver goes first with an initiative of 7. I'm going to use the upper part of Mana Bolt. Attack of 2, range of 3. And I'm going to attack actually Living Bones number 5 because that's already got 2 damage. Attack of 2 +0. I hit Living Bones number 5 for 2. And the reason why I'm doing this is because they're going to heal on their turn. So I want to get rid of at least one of them before they heal. And then I'm going to use the bottom part of Freezing Nova just for the movement of 2. And actually I'm going to move over here. Brute is next. Well, I'm going to use the upper part of Sweeping Blow. Attack of 2, and I can attack all 3 enemies. So let's attack Living Bones number 1 first. Oof, what a shame. Because he's going to heal himself. But I hit Living Bones number 1 for 4 damage. Okay, now Living Bones number 5. Ooh, Bless card. Again, I just devastated it. Kind of a waste of the Bless card. And I'm immediately going to take that out. Well, I hit Living Bones number 5 for 4 damage. It already had 4 damage, so it's toast. It's gone. Now, Living Corpse number 1. Again, attack of 2, +1. Living Corpse number 1 gets hit for 3 damage. Only 1 health left on Living Corpse number 1. I'm going to use the bottom part of Eye for an Eye to move 2. And I'm going to move over here. Living Bones is next. -2 for movement, so it can't move, doesn't need to. It's going to attack my Brute for a base attack of 1, 2 times. Well, I could either use my Iron Helmet, but it seems kind of a waste with the attack of only 1. So I'm just going to take the 2 damage. I can absorb 2 damage. And then Living Bones heals itself, which is unfortunate. So it's back up to 3 health. Living Corpse, big bonus to attack with a push, but then they suffer 1 damage. So they have a bonus to attack, but they don't move. Both of them just suffer 1 damage. So Living Corpse number 1 only has a health of 5. It's already got 4 damage. So Living Corpse number 1 just kind of killed itself. Bye-bye. And Living Corpse number 3, the Elite should have gone first, but they don't attack anyway. So Living Corpse number 3 just takes 1 damage. Living Corpse number 3, because it's an Elite, has 10 health. So it's going to take a while to get rid of that guy. And that is the end of the round. I'm down to 2 cards on the Spellweaver. Brute still has 4 cards, so the Brute's still okay. Take only long rest during the scenario. Well, I could. That is the end of round 3. Start of round 4. My Spellweaver's down to 2 cards. I'm going to try to get my battle goal, taking only long rest, so I'm going to declare a long rest for my Spellweaver. That means for this round, my initiative is 99. At the end of my turn, I can choose which card to lose, and I can heal for 2. Living Bones goes first. It's going to move, and it can attack 2 targets. So it's actually going to move here then, and you'll attack the Brute first, because the Brute's going to go first in the round. Base attack of 1, -1, so no damage to the Brute. Now to attack the Spellweaver, -1, so no damage to the Spellweaver. Living Corpse has a bonus to movement, but a negative to attack. Well, it's first going to move. Its base movement is 1 + 1, so 2. It's going to move 1, 2, and it's going to attack the Brute with a base attack of 2, -1, so it's going to hit the Brute for 1. Now it's the Brute's turn. I'm going to use the upper part of Leaping Cleave, and before I forget, I'm going to give myself the experience point for an attack of 3. I'm going to attack the Living Corpse first. Attack of 3, Curse, so no damage. And I can take that out of the deck. Now, second attack, Living Bones, attack of 3, 2 times. Sweet. That means 6 damage to Living Bones, who already has 2 damage. It is gone. Health is 5, so that's 8 damage total on 5, so it's gone. I'm just going to use the bottom part of Warding Strength for the movement of 2. I'm going to move over here to get the money token. This is the end of round 4 cleanup. So Spellweaver, I can heal for 2, so I'm up to 5. And I can choose which of my cards to lose. I'm going to get rid of Impaling Eruption. Now the Brute, I should do a rest on the Brute. And I think I'm just going to do a short rest on the Brute. So for a short rest, I have to randomly lose one of my cards. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. Because I like randomness, I'm going to use an 8-sided die. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The rest of the cards go into my hand. Just the one enemy left. And he's got 8 health left. Start around number 5. Oh, at the end of round 4, I can grab that money token. My Brute goes first. I'm going to use the upper part of Provoking Roar for an attack of 2. Oh, I forgot. Sorry. Just to quickly back up. Since I drew the 2 times card, it's a shuffle symbol. I got to shuffle my deck. Definitely got to remember. I'm getting better. I don't think I've made any mistakes yet. Jinx. Attack 2. +1. So I hit Living Corpse for 3. He's already got 2 damage, so I'm going to put a 5 damage token on there. And he's disarmed till the end of his next turn. And I'm going to use the bottom part of Spare Dagger for an attack of 2. +0, so I hit him for another 2 damage. He's now got 7 damage. Spellweaver is next. I'm going to use the upper part of Manibolt for an attack of 2, but I'm going to use my Minor Power Potion to add 1 attack to my attack action. So attack of 3, -2. Well, I still hit for 1 damage. Then I'm going to use the bottom part of Flame Strike for an attack of 2, range of 2, -1. Frick. Alright, well, 1 damage. Living Corpse has a movement of 1. It doesn't need to move because it's in range of the Brute. It's disarmed, so no attack, but it can still poison. So it's going to poison the Brute. Now this poison is persistent. The poison adds 1 damage to a character's attack. It can only be removed with a heal. But anyway, that's the end of round number 5. Well, the disarm can come off the Living Corpse. Living Corpse only has 1 health left. That's good. Start around number 6. So my Spellweaver goes first. I'm going to use the upper part of Frost Armor for an attack of 2, range of 3, and just hope that I can get rid of that Living Corpse. +1. Living Corpse only had 1 health left. I just hit him for 3. He's gone. Oh, there's 2 money piles there. That's awesome. Okay, well, I still have a turn here. So I'm going to use the bottom part of Reviving Ether to open this door. Now I still have 3 movement left, but now I got to populate this room. There's an Elite Living Bones here. There's a normal Living Bones right here. Another Rubble Terrain, and 2 poison damage traps. So these are 2 damage and poison. And then there's 2 normal living spirits, which I haven't seen before. So 4 monsters in that room. So I have to draw a card for the Living Bones. I got to draw a Living Spirit card. Now these living spirits can fly, so they can fly over those traps, but they can't land on a trap. Now I still have 3 movement left. I'm going to be a bit crafty, I think. I'm going to move into the room. 1, 2, I'll move over here. And I'm going to turn myself invisible using my Cloak of Invisibility. So I'm now invisible till the end of my next turn. Living Bones is next, initiative of 45. So the elite will go first. Ooh, movement of 4. Buggers can move. Well, you can't see the Spellweaver, so he's going to go toward the Brute. 1, 2, 3. That puts him right into the door. But he's not close enough to attack, so he doesn't attack. For the other Living Bones, same thing, except base movement of 2. We'll move 1, 2, just to get closer to the Brute. Now, next is the Living Spirits. They have a base movement of 2, and they can fly, but they can't end their... They consider these obstacles, they can go over them, but they can't end their turn on them. Living Spirit number 2 is going to go first. I think what it would do then was just move 1 to get to there. And then it's not close enough to any character, so it can't attack. And then for Living Spirit number 4, it can move 2. I think it'll move to there. And again, it can't attack. Now it's the Brute's turn. Well, I've got 4 money tokens nearby. My original plan, and I think I'm going to stick with it, I'm going to use the bottom part of Leaping Cleave. I'll use the move 3 with a jump even though I don't need to. And I'm going to do that just so that I can put the air element into play. But I'm only going to move 2 to there. And then I'm going to use the upper part of Grab and Go to loot within a range of 1. And I'm going to loot all those money tiles. Sweet. So even if I fail the scenario, I've got a lot of gold. That's the end of the Brute's turn. So that means it's the end of round number 5. That goes to inactive. That is inactive. No shuffle symbols. Condition stays on. That stays on. This moves down to waning. Start at round number 7. Living Bones goes first. Spellweaver is still invisible. Elite Living Bones. Base movement of 4, but a movement bonus -2, so move of 2. So it'll move towards the Brute. It will attack, but it's not close enough to attack. And then heal, but it doesn't have any damage. So that's the end of its turn. For the other Living Bones, it has a base movement of 2, -2, so it can't move, and nobody's within range or visible, so no attack. So that's the end of Living Bones' turn. Next is the Spellweaver. Okay, I'm going to try to be somewhat bold here with the Spellweaver. I'm going to use the bottom part of Freezing Nova, just for the base movement of 2. And I'm going to move to here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to use the upper part of Fire Orbs for an attack of 3, range of 3, target 3. All of these guys are within my range. Well, I'm going to just go ahead and give myself the experience point. I'm going to lose the card if I do this, but who do I want to attack first? Let's attack the Living Bones number 4 first. So an attack of 3 plus 1. So I hit the Living Bones for 4 damage. Now I'm going to attack Living Spirit number 2. Attack of 3 plus 0. But these guys, they only have 2 health, but they have a shield of 1, which gives them essentially a health of 3. That was enough to get rid of Living Spirit number 2. 3 damage. Same thing, Living Spirit number 4. Attack of 3. Plus 0, and just like that, Living Spirit number 4 is also gone. I think that was a good utilization of that card, and also I put the fire element into the element table, and then I lose this card. And now I'm no longer invisible. Next up is my Brute. I think I'm going to be a bit aggressive here. I'm going to use the bottom part of Trample to move 4, the jump, an attack of 2, attack all enemies moved through. And I'm also going to use my Boots of Striding to get another 2 movement. So what I'm going to do then, I'm going to move, so I get 6 movement total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just enough. I'm going to move 1, and then 2, attack Living Bones number 2 for an attack of 2. Null. Okay, well that's nullified. Move that out so I know to shuffle it. I'm going to take my 2 experience point already here. Keep forgetting I'm poisoned here too. I'm going to get rid of that poison. So 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to move into here. And again, attack of 2 plus 0, but that is enough. He's got 4 damage, health of 5, total damage of 6. He's gone. And that was the end of my movement, so I actually land on that money tile. I lose that card. And then I've got the upper part of Warding Strength, which I just discard. Just can't use it. Right, and around, shuffle symbol on the living bones. Air moves to inert. Fire moves to waning. No other conditions to remove. This has to get shuffled. Start of round number 8. I'm going to declare a long rest on both of my characters. So they have initiative of 99. So that means I just have to draw a card for Living Bones. So Living Bones is going to move 4. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to say it's going to move here because it wants to get as close as it can to both characters. And then attack of 2. It's going to target the Brute. So attack 2 plus 0 hits my Brute for 2. I can now, for my Brute, I can heal for 2, but what the heal is going to do is just get rid of the poison. But I'm also going to use my minor healing potion to heal myself for an additional 3. Because I'm only at 4 health. That gets me back up to 7. Then I can choose which of these cards to lose. I'm going to lose Grab and Go. Spellweaver, long rest. I can heal for 2, but I only have 1 damage, so I'm back up to 6. And I can choose to lose one of these cards. So I've only taken long rests with the Spellweaver so far. I'm going to lose Freezing Nova. I've got 5 cards left on the Spellweaver. That is the end of round number 8. And this can go to inert. Now we're doing the short rest. I can refresh my Boots of Striding. I forgot. Start around number 9. My Brute goes first. I'm using the upper part of Provoking Roar. Attack of 2 and a disarm. Curse. Bah! But I can remove this from the deck. But I still disarm. The attack is nullified, but the disarm still applies. So number 2. Then I'm going to use the bottom part of Eye for an Eye to heal myself for another 2. And that puts the earth element into the element table. Spellweaver. Bit of a strategy here. I'm going to use the bottom part of Frost Armor for a persistent effect. On the next 2 sources of damage to you, suffer no damage instead. So I'll put that up here, and I'll put a token on there. And when I use this, I move the token over. Then I'm going to use the upper part of Reviving Ether to recover all of my lost cards. And in doing so, I lose this card. And that is the end of my turn. Now, the Living Bones. Well, it had no movement, bonus to attack, but it's disarmed, so it can't attack. So, end of round 9. Cleanup. Nothing to be shuffled, no conditions. This can go to waning. Start around number 10. Oh, the disarm comes off the Living Bones already. My Brute goes first. I'm going to use the upper part of Warding Strength for an attack of 3 and a push, but I don't think I want to push, so I'm just going to ignore the push. -1. Hit Living Bones for 2 damage. It's got a health of 6. Then I'm going to use the bottom part, Spare Dagger, for an attack of 2, plus 0, another 2 damage. Spellweaver is next. I'm going to use the upper part of Flame Strike for an attack of 3, range 2, so Living Bones is within range. All be nice to me. -1, good enough. He's got 6 health, so I hit him for 2 damage. He already had 4, that's up to 6. He's only got 6 health. That kills the Living Bones. I'm going to use the bottom part of Mana Bolt just for the base movement of 2, but I can really only move 1. So I'm going to move to here. In order to move into the rubble, I need a movement of 2, and I don't have that. Okay, end of round number 10. That goes to inert. No conditions, no more shuffle symbols. That never got used. So this next round is going to be kind of a freebie because there's no monsters. Start around number 11. Okay, it doesn't really matter which one goes first, but technically the Brute goes first here. I'm going to use the bottom part of Leaping Cleave for a move of 3 with a jump, but I'm also going to use my Boots of Striding again to give myself an additional 2 movement. And the jump lets me go over that rubble, so I can move 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to move right there. Oh, was I on a money tile? Yeah, I was on a money tile. Yeah, so I get that. And then for the upper part of Overwhelming Assault, I'm just not going to use it. Goes my discard. Spellweaver. Oh, I'm sorry. By using the bottom part of Leaping Cleave, that put the air element into the element table. I'm going to use the bottom part of Impaling Eruption for a move of 4. Now, going into the rubble costs me 2 movements, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to move to there. And I'm going to use the upper part of Ride the Wind to loot those 2 money tiles. Spellweaver's down to 2 cards. Brute is down to 1. So end of round 11, cleanup, no shuffle symbols, no conditions. This can move to waning. Both characters need to do a rest Just so I can try to get my battle goal. I think Spellweaver is going to do a long rest. I'll have to declare that on the next turn. But the Brute will do a short rest. So I have to randomly lose one of these cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll roll my 6-sided die. 3. 1, 2, 3. Those go back into my hand. Start around number 12. Spellweaver's declaring a long rest. I will lose my card at the end of my turn. So it's really just up to the Brute. The Brute goes first, obviously. I'm going to use the bottom part of Eye for an Eye, just for the base movement of 2. And that gets me 1 right into this door. Open the door. And now I can populate this room here. My movement's done, but I still have the other part of my card I can use. So in this room, there's a treasure, 2 stone columns, a rubble tile, another rubble tile, 6 money tokens, 1 elite living spirit, and 2 normal living corpses. Oof, this elite living spirit has a shield of 2. Getting through that shield is going to be tough. And it's got a high movement, damage, everything. Ouch. I still have the upper part of Spare Dagger that I can use before the monsters get their turn. So I'm going to use the upper part of Spare Dagger, attack of 3, range of 3. Living Corpse number 5 is within my range. Attack of 3, plus 1. So Living Corpse number 5 takes 4 damage. That's a good start. And I got 1 experience point for using that. Now the Living Corpse is next, because my Spellweaver is going to go last because she's taking a long rest. Living Corpse, they don't move. They attack, and then they push and suffer 1 damage. Well, not close enough to attack. They just suffer 1 damage. But Living Corpse number 5 has already got 4 damage. It only has a health of 5. So Living Corpse number 5 is actually dead. And then Living Corpse number 6 takes 1 damage. Living Spirit, this is the one I got to watch out for. Can move up to 3. But to get within its range of 3, it only needs to move 1. 1, 2, yeah, so it's going to move here. And it's going to attack the Brute for an attack of 3, plus 1. Hits my Brute for 4. But that's the end of the monster's turn. Spellweaver is doing her long rest, so she gets to choose which one of these cards to lose. I'm going to lose Ride the Wind. This moves to Inert. I've still done nothing but long rests. That is the end of round number 12. Start of round 13. My Brute goes first. I'm going to use the bottom part of Leaping Cleave just for the base movement of 2. I'm going to move right next to Living Spirit. I'm going to use the upper part of Provoking Roar to attack for 2 and a disarm. Attack of 2 plus 0. Now because it has a shield of 2, I don't do any damage, but at least I disarm the Living Spirit. I say that shield is hard to get through. Next actually is the Living Spirit. So it's got a movement. Now, if it wasn't disarmed, it would try to get within range for an attack without disadvantage. So to do so, it would want to move away from the Brute. Now, it's got 2 equal hexes it can go to get away from the Brute. So I'm going to roll a 4-sided die and say 1 to 2 it moves there, 3 to 4 it moves there. So it's going to move there. So it's disarmed, can't attack. That's the end of the Living Spirit's turn. I can take the disarm off of that now. Living Corpse is next. It's going to move 1, and that's it. Just move 1, and it's not close enough to attack the Brute. Next is the Spellweaver. I'm using the bottom part of Impaling Eruption to move 4. 1, 2, 3, move right to there. And I'm going to use the upper part of Fire Orbs, and I'll lose the card if I do this. Attack of 3 with a range of 3, target 3, gain 1 experience for each enemy targeted. Well, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 2 enemies within my range, so I'm going to go ahead and give myself the 2 experience points. This also puts the fire element into the table. Let's attack the Living Spirit first. Attack of 3. Curse, of course. But again, I can take it out of my deck. Okay, well that didn't work. Now attack the Living Corpse. Attack of 3, plus 1. And that's 4 damage. It already had 1 damage. It's only got a health of 5. That was enough to get rid of Living Corpse. That card is lost. And that is the end of round number 13. So 1 monster left. I have no intention of opening that other door. I think I'll just leave it. But I have an opportunity to get some treasure. So I think I'm going to do it. And this goes to waning. Start of round number 14. Oh, I've only got 2 cards left on the Brute. So actually do a short rest on the Brute. 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. Let's get rid of card number 3. 1, 2, 3. Spellweaver still have a decent amount of cards. Well, the Brute needs to loot a treasure tile to get his battle goal. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. My Brute goes first. I'm going to use the bottom part of Overwhelming Assault for the move of 3. And I'm going to move 1, 2, and I'm going to move into this treasure tile and loot it. Now, before I do the upper part of my other card, I'm going to see what that treasure tile is. So, treasure tile number 50, gain second skin, item 101. Now, the rules say I can immediately put that item into my inventory. So, second skin is a chest piece. Remove 2 -1 cards from your attack modifier deck. Okay, this card doesn't get consumed. It's just, you just remove those cards from your deck. Well, I'm going to remove them and then shuffle my deck. I think that's how that works. I just realized after applying this card, the Iron Helmet, it doesn't say to get rid of the card once you use it. So I think it's just a persistent effect that any 2 times attack modifier card can be +0. Okay, well, lesson learned. Well, it's always good to have more equipment. And I achieved my battle goal. And I still have the other half of my turn left. I'm going to use the upper part of Eye for an Eye for Retaliative 2. Gain 1 experience each time you retaliate this round. So this is persistent for 1 round only. Well, the Living Spirit goes next. It has a base movement of 3, -1 from the modifier card. Doesn't need to move. It's within range of the Brute and within range of the Spellweaver. So given the option of Brute or Spellweaver, it's going to attack whichever went first in the round, and that was a Brute. So it's going to attack the Brute for 3. It has -1 to its attack, but then it puts Muddle. So let's do the attack first. Base attack of 2, +1, hits the Brute for 3. But, well, I retaliate for 2, but the Living Spirit has a shield of 2, so that doesn't really help. But I do gain 1 experience point because I retaliated. And now my character is muddled. Disadvantage on attacks, remove at the end of next turn. Okay, so this is persistent till the end of my next turn. Spellweaver. I'm going to use the upper part of Mana Bolt for an attack of 2, range of 3, but I'm going to consume this fire element to gain 1 additional attack, and I get an experience point for doing that. So my attack is 3 +1. So I hit for 4 damage. It's got a shield of 2, so I do 2 damage. It only has a health of 3, so I just got to break that shield to get 1 more point of damage. Then I'm going to use the bottom part of Flame Strike to move 2, and I'm actually going to move closer to that guy. All right, that's the end of round 14. Spellweaver needs to do a rest, and I want to achieve my battle goal, so I'm going to do a long rest on the Spellweaver at the next turn. Brute, I don't need to do a rest. Start around 15. Spellweaver's doing a long rest. It's going to be a little tough to get rid of this last Living Spirit, I think, even though it's only got 1 health left. My Brute is muddled. I'm taking a rest on the Spellweaver. My Brute's running out of cards. So my Brute goes first. I'm going to use the bottom part of Sweeping Blow just for the movement of 2, and I'm just going to move 1. And the upper part of Provoking Roar for an attack of 2 and Disarm. So attack of 2, +1. That's enough. Shield of 2. I hit him for 1. He's only got 1 health left, so Living Spirit has been destroyed. Spellweaver was on a money token, so I got to get that from the last round, actually. Living Spirit is done. Sweet. That's the end of his turn, and the Spellweaver was doing a rest, so that's the end of the Spellweaver's turn. I'm not going to bother reclaiming any cards because basically the scenario is done. And that means I took only long rests with the Spellweaver, so I achieved my battle goal as well. 15 rounds. Successful completion. That's awesome. Conclusion. After the terrible shrieks and moans of the undead, the sound of someone clapping is at once foreign and alarming. Turning around, you see a hooded figure standing at the edge of your torchlight. You raise your weapon. but the grin on his silhouetted face isn't menacing in a way that calls for arms. It is menacing in a way you've never experienced before. "Well done, sirs," the figure lilts. My, but you do have a way about you, don't you? And you've certainly gotten our attention now, removing this troublesome crypt of its rogue undead element. We very much prefer our undead to be the controllable variety, now don't we?" There is a long pause as the figure stares at you, still grinning. "Well, perhaps you'd be so kind as to do us another favor, after which we'll be mostly settled on the whole issue of you murdering some of my brethren." He stops grinning. "There's a necromancer in Gloomhaven. Been giving us a spot of trouble. Sending mercenaries out to do her dirty work against us. Maybe you've met her. Kill Jexera. Bring her head to our headquarters, and we'll see about letting you live." So this unlocks a new location, Gloomhaven Warehouse, and I get 2 party achievements, Jexera's Plans, Dark Bounty, and we get 5 gold each. So I'm going to give myself 5 gold. Okay, end of scenario cleanup. On my party sheet, I can mark off my 2 new achievements, and I can mark the Gloomhaven Warehouse on the world map as a new location. Okay, for the Brute, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 money tokens, conversion rate of 2. That's 12, plus the 5 gold, 17. Add that to the 4 I had before, so I'm up to 21 gold. And experience, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 4 for completing the scenario, 9, puts me up to 50, which also means that I level up. I can only level up in Gloomhaven, so we'll travel back to Gloomhaven after this. Spellweaver, I have 3 money tokens, conversion rate of 2, that's 6, plus the 5, 11. That puts me up to 21 gold. Experience, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus 4. That puts me up to 40. Spellweaver did not level up. And each character got another check mark on their character sheets. My character is going to travel back to Gloomhaven, in which case my Brute can level up to level 2. And by going to level 2, I can increase my maximum health from 10 to 12. That in itself is really helpful. Quick follow-up. As I was cleaning up the game, I read the manual on what happens when you level up. And I guess when you level up, you also get a perk. So my Brute can pick a perk. So you don't just get perks from getting your check marks. You can get perks from leveling up. So I can choose from one of these items on the right-hand side of my character sheet as a perk. I'm going to pick add 2+1 cards. Having more positive cards in your hand is good. Awesome. I think that's going to be quite beneficial. More good cards means less chance of getting the bad cards. So also what I read in the instructions is, well, I've got a bunch of cards available. I only gain access to these cards. These are my actual ability cards. I only gain access to them once I level up. But the ones that are immediately available to me are the ones marked with an X and all the level 1 cards. But I can now pick from level 2 cards now that I've hit level 2. But it says I have to pick one of them as part of my available card pool. So I'm assuming what that means is my available card pool is all the level 1 cards, plus my 3 X cards, plus now 1 of my 2 level 2 cards. And then, if I'm understanding that correctly, and then the other one I just don't use. So I have to make sure I separate my available card pool from just the cards that are available in general. So I had a choice between Fatal Advance and Juggernaut. Fatal Advance seems quite powerful. Just kill one adjacent normal enemy, but then you lose the card. But you know what? Then the other ones move 2, attack 2. Even though Fatal Advance seems very attractive as a card, I'm going to pick Juggernaut. Now I may or may not use it in the next scenario, but it's in my available card pool. I'm going to put what's in my available card pool, I'm going to put in sleeves, and then the other ones I won't. The other cards I have available to me is Wall of Doom, Balance Measure, and Skewer. I have yet to actually pick any of these, but they're available to me, so I could use them. So now I know when I level up, I get a perk, and I increase my available card pool. Learning as I go. That's what I like about this game. It keeps the mind active, really active. Now the next thing to do would be to decide where we're going to go next. I have to get out the world map here to figure that out. So now I've got available to me Inox Encampment, Ruinous Crypt, or Gloomhaven Warehouse. So again, I think I will randomly choose where to go. I've got 3 locations. I'm going to roll a 6-sided die. 1 to 2, Inox Encampment. 3 to 4, Ruinous Crypt. 5 to 6, Gloomhaven Warehouse. 4. So we're going to go to Ruinous Crypt next. So we'll do that next time. In the next episode, I'll do another city event and road event, and we'll go to Ruinous Crypt. I'm very happy that I made it through the scenario on the first try. I feel like I didn't make a whole lot of mistakes, although I think right at the end, I think I made a mistake because I forgot that I was muddled. But I'm not sure it affected the outcome. I'm feeling more comfortable with the game now. This is the 6th gameplay session? So I'm definitely getting more comfortable with what I'm doing. But that's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.